The United Nations General Assembly voted in support of a Palestinian bid for full membership of the organization on Friday. The Palestinian Authority welcomed the resolution, saying the mandate shows Palestine deserves full United Nations membership. The resolution states that Palestinians should be admitted to the United Nations. It also grants additional rights as observers. 143 nations voted in favor, while 9 countries voted against it and 25 abstained. The United Nations General Assembly vote is being called a symbolic move in the backdrop of the United States veto in the Security Council on Palestinian call for membership. Palestinian membership came back in focus at a time when Israel's military operations in Gaza are making headlines and has alarmed global leaders and humanitarian organizations alike. While the Palestinians currently are a non-member observer state, the request for membership goes back to 2011. Meanwhile, the Israeli delegation at the United Nations had a dramatic response to the overwhelming support for Palestinian membership. Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Gilad Erdan, took a shredding machine at the podium, where he proceeded to shred several pages of the United Nations Charter as he addressed the assembly.
This is your mirror, so that you can see exactly what you are inflicting upon the UN Charter with this destructive vote. This is you are shredding the UN Charter with your own hands. Yes, that's what you're doing, shredding the UN Charter. Shame on you.
For the Palestinian bid for full United Nations membership to succeed, the United Nations Security Council has to unanimously vote in favor of the bid, following which it needs a 2/3 majority vote in the General Assembly. However, Israel's strongest ally, the US, vetoed the bid at the United Nations Security Council on April 18th. While US President Joe Biden has on several occasions emphasized a two-state solution, Washington opposes any recognition of Palestinian statehood outside of a bilateral accord between the Palestinians and Israelis. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Teherani has sent us this report from New York.
The United Nations General Assembly overwhelmingly voted to upgrade Palestine's status as a non-member observer state, granting it increased international recognition and influence. The move was criticized by Israel, which views it as a reward for terrorism and a hindrance to peace negotiations. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations said today the General Assembly is not only granting the rights of a state to the Palestinian Terror Authority, today you are also granting privileges to the future terror state of Hamas. You have opened up the United Nations to modern-day Nazis. The vote is seen as a symbolic international endorsement of Palestinian statehood, with many Western countries reconsidering their previous stance of linking full recognition to a final Israeli-Palestinian conflict resolution. At the end of the day, the General Assembly vote serves as a non-binding survey of global support for full Palestinian membership, but does not have the power or authority to grant that full membership. Susan Teherani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.